Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to start out today's video introducing you to another blog that I'm going to be covering on my channel, and then we're going to get into an article from that blog and go from there. So the new blog that I'm going to be covering on my channel is Girl Defined. Now if you don't know who Girl Defined is, they actually have quite a lot of content on the internet. They have a blog, they have a YouTube channel that is quite busy, and a lot of channels cover a lot of their YouTube videos. They also write books, they go on tours, and they are a religious-based group that preaches about how you should be living your life based on their interpretations of God and His Bible and His Word. And if you're not living your life that way, then you're wrong and you're going to hell, and you should, change what you're doing and live their way. Now, I'm going to start off by introducing them and who they are, and then we're going to go into one of the blog posts, and we're going to cover that blog post today. So let's start off with who Girl Defined is. Girl Defined is Kristen and Bethany. They are sisters, and they live in Texas, here in the United States. And let's just get on to a little bit about them. Now, I took some notes. I have their blog pulled up in front of me. If I can think how to speak English today, that would be great. But Girl Defined is their ministry, the Girl Defined ministry. Now let's get into a little bit about them. They are sisters. They come from a large family. They said that they are very athletic, with 8 out of 10 of their family members being over 6 foot tall. They enjoy sports, blah, 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 which most Southerners, I can speak from experience. I'm a Southerner. Growing up, sports is a huge thing. I played softball, I played football, I played baseball. Sports in the South is like second nature. It's what you do. But they said that after high school, they went into the modeling industry, and they discovered that their Christian values and morals just did not get along with the modeling industry, which I have a problem right there with. You got into modeling, but isn't that right there a problem in the first place? Because you're not supposed to be valuing your beauty and your outward appearance based off of your religion in the first place. So that is a red flag for me anyway, based off of just being raised as a Southern Baptist girl in the South. We were always taught that, yes, while you should dress in a way where you look presentable, you should never value your looks or your appearance. But then you get into modeling as soon as you get out of high school. Anyway, so they put their modeling dreams to rest, and they wanted something more, and so they started studying more God's Word, and they dove deep into it, and they were compelled to share it. So that's when they launched Girl Defined Ministries, and they started that in 2014, and they said that their goal has always been the same, is to help modern girls understand and live out God's timeless truth to womanhood. Well, here's my second red flag. It's not a timeless, what did they say? Timeless truth for womanhood. Because in the time that the word was written, women were property in the Bible, and they were not considered to even be able to speak. There's Bible verses where it says they are not to speak in the temple. You were property of your of your father. I shouldn't say your parents. You were property of your father until you were married, and then you were property of your husband. And then if your husband died, you went back to being property of your father. But if your father died, you went to be property of one of your brothers, usually the oldest brother. until you could be property of another husband. So, yeah, that's not how things work nowadays. 2, women didn't work outside of the home. 3, rape was not one of those things that was literally spoken out about in those days. That's not a timeless truth by any stretch of the imagination. But anyway, it says, in a day and age of conflicting messages about their value, purpose, and identity, they desperately need to know that the only one who can define them is the one who created them. Negative. The only person that can define you is you. So, by saying that the only way you can find any definition to who you are is through a God figure, just evaluates you as a person in the first place. So, it says, through our blogs, videos, conferences, and online webinars, we are building an online sisterhood. They have sisterhood in quotation marks, where girls and women can find the encouragement and answers they are searching for. No. You are preaching to women, which literally your Bible says you should not be doing. So you're not living out your purpose from your God and your holy book. It says, we do not have all the answers, and we most definitely have not arrived at the perfect place, but we know some truth, and it's radically changed our lives. And then some more blah, blah, blah. And then XOXO, Kristen and Bethany goes on to a video I'm not wasting my time with. It says popular blogs, popular videos that you can click on and read. It shows their books that they have written. It gives some real lives are being changed. These are people that have messaged them saying that their lives have been changed through their messages. And just goes on to some other stuff that they are promoting. I'm not wasting my time. I don't understand where they get off saying that they are helping and will be helping women through their message, that they're not supposed to be even preaching based off of what the Bible says, that women should be silent and should not be preaching, that is the man's role, so they are already breaking their rules in their religion. But anyway, moving on. So the blog post that I'm going to be going through today is 3 lies I believed about fighting sexual sin. This is actually written by Kristen. She wrote this on June 28th of 2019. And here's the thing that gets me. She goes into this blog where she's kind of making this huge, big thing about her sexual sin, okay? Let me give you an example. It happened again, then again, and again. This will be the last time, I promised myself. I was tired of wrestling with the sexual sin and wanted to be free from this particular struggle. Like, you're thinking, what the... Let me give you what her sexual sin is, and then you could really be like, why is she making it such a big deal? Literally, she made it such a big deal that it is like 4 paragraphs before you find out what her sexual sin is. So I'm not even going to waste your time in going through those 4 paragraphs. 4 paragraphs before you find out what her sexual sin is. Her sexual sin is lust and masturbation. Why did it take 4 paragraphs to build that up? It's ridiculous. So the first lie that she believed about fighting sexual sin was, I can handle it myself. You can. That's not a lie. You can handle things on your own. If you think that this is such a bad thing, you can deal with it yourself. You can, in your mind, make up your mind, you know what? I'm not going to masturbate today. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to take myself away from this. I'm not going to watch anything that's going to trigger me to want to masturbate. I'm not going to think about the things that make me want to masturbate. I'm going to move on past this. But not in a Christian blog, you're not. No. In a Christian blog, you have to go to another Christian and talk to another Christian about what you're doing. And it takes 4 paragraphs to build up to that answer. She goes into what her sexual sin was after the first 4 paragraphs, where she's building it up to be this huge thing that it's not. It is a normal thing. Everybody has sexual urges. Everybody is attracted to people. Everybody has these urges. These are natural urges. That is the reason why we procreate, because you have these urges to do these things. These are completely natural. But, not to Christians. To Christians, these are sins that are the reason why, God will strike you down with a lightning bolt or some crap. Whatever. So she has to build that up with 4 paragraphs before she gives you it in one sentence. You could have cut out those first 4 paragraphs, but whatever. Then she builds up for 4 more paragraphs on, she was struggling with this secret and she couldn't handle it anymore. She couldn't handle her sin by herself anymore. So then she had to I humbled myself before God, prayed for mercy and strength to be open, that I found my courage to speak up. Sharing my struggles with a godly person was a huge step in my journey toward freedom. Or you could just make up your damn mind, be a grown-up, and decide you're not going to. You don't have to go to a godly person, because guess what? That godly person also has those same struggles and wants and needs, because guess what? It is human nature to want to have sex and to find people attractive and to want to have sex with other people, because that is how the human race keeps on going. That is how other animals keep on going. That is how we have survived all of these millions of years, is by people finding other people attractive and having sex with them and having babies. That is how animals have kept on procreating and kept on making new animals, is because of these attractions. But moving on. So that's another 4 paragraphs that you didn't need. The second lie that she believed about fighting sexual sin was, I just needed to try harder. Well, if you are having such a problem with what you're doing, yes, you just needed to try harder. But no, not in a Christian blog. In a Christian blog, you do not have, literally, this is what she says, we don't have what it takes within ourselves. Yes, we do. If you haven't figured it out yet, religion and God and all of the sins are just a construct of humanity, because animals don't have these constructs on them. And if there was a God, these animals would still have these constructs on them. Because he also created them, didn't he? Yes, he did. But animals go around and just act like animals. We are the only ones that put all of these pressures and all of these constraints on ourselves. And we do this as a way of keeping us human. But you can do like some of us who have decided that this God person that you find so loving and so wonderful and so great that you're blinding yourself to the actual reality of life. When we look at life, like I look around at life and I go, well, if God is so perfect and God is so omnipresent and God is so interactive with everybody, then why are there so many children suffering and dying and being abused and all of the things that are going on in the world? Why does God allow those things to happen if He is so loving and omnipresent and loves all the children of the world? And when you can't answer that question, then you can poke holes in other questions that you have. That is when I have to push back from the table of religion and go, no, thank you. I'm good. But I also don't run around and murder people and rape people and just do whatever. I live my life based off of, I don't put anything out there in the world that I don't want coming back on me 3 times as bad. I live my life by the rules of 3. What you put out in the world comes back at you 3 times. So I put out as much energy as I want to come back at me 3 times. So, she is saying right now that you as humans just can't, you can't do anything by yourself. You have to have God, you have to hold God's hand like a 2-year-old, like, okay, I can't do it. Then what's the purpose of you being here then? Explain that to me. So then she says that she was convinced that this was her biggest downfall due to a lack of effort and that she needed to try harder. But then she was convinced that she didn't have it in her to do it. So she has to read a Bible verse, and that the power of Christ within her gave her the fight that she needed in that moment to overcome her problem. So then here's the third lie. God can't help me overcome my sin. I'm good with that one. You have to overcome whatever you want to overcome. You have to make up your mind to overcome whatever is in front of you. Like when my daughter died, I thought I was done. I had to make up my mind to overcome that. There was no like little God figure up there like going, okay, here you go. We're going to step over this barricade. No. I had to make up my mind the next morning to get up out of bed and keep moving. And I had to do that every day. I had to make sure that I kept putting one foot in front of the other foot in front of the other foot and keep myself moving. There was nobody else there pushing me along. I had to push me along. So, she said that even though I was praying and asking God for help, I still had seeds of doubt in my heart. Well, if you had those seeds of doubt, even though you're so, Christian and everything's going to work out and God's right here by my side, then don't you already have a problem with your faith? Aren't you already seeing the holes in your faith? But thanks to God, she came through. As a Christian, my old self, my sinful flesh, no longer had the greatest power in my life. Christ died on my behalf. The only way to find lasting victory is by Christ enabling me to walk in righteousness. No, the only way to find your way out of that is to make up your mind that you're going to. That is the only way. You made up your mind that you didn't want to masturbate anymore, that you didn't want to lust after somebody anymore, and so you did it. You are just using Christ and God as your, like, placebo effect. Like, I prayed and I did it. No, you prayed that you could make up your mind, and you made up your mind. That's all that is. So then she goes on to kind of like wrap it up, promoting her book. And then she goes, now I want to hear from you. Of the three lies mentioned above, which one do you find yourself most tempted to buy into? For me personally, God can't help me overcome my sin because I don't believe He's there. And I don't believe what you were doing is a sin. It's a natural feeling. It's a natural occurrence in everybody. Then the second question is, what biblical truth have you found personally helpful in your fight against sexual sin? Well, none. Because I don't believe that your book has anything for me. I mean, it constantly downgrades women. It constantly downgrades everything that naturally occurs in your body. It constantly puts men on a pedestal, even though some of those men, actually, a great majority of those men did not earn that pedestal. So, where should that Bible fit into my life? I got your answer for that one. Nowhere. I make my own decisions on what I want to do in my life by weighing out the pros and cons of that decision. Like, I want to leave and go see family. Okay. Let's look at that decision. Go see family. Okay. That's a good thing. I get to catch up on old times. I get to see how they're doing. I get to, make sure everybody's okay. What are the cons of that? I'm going to be spending some money. Have I made sure all my bills are paid? Yes, okay. I've got to make sure that my vehicle's oil is changed, my tires are good, things of that nature. Okay, cool. I've got to make sure that I've made some adult decisions before I just go. Okay, done. This person has really pissed me off while I'm driving. Do I pull out a gun and shoot them? Let's look at that decision. Murdering a person. I'm going to kill another human being because I'm mad. That is going to land me in jail, which means I'm going to be away from my husband and my son. That is not a good decision. I'm going to take this person away from their family all over my anger. Also not a good decision. So no, I don't think I will do that today. See, I don't need that book to point me in a good decision-making range. I can do that based off of my mind. I have a very good mind, and I can think things out logically. Even when I'm mad, or even when I'm sad, or even when I'm happy, or even when I'm, whatever. I can think things through to a logical perspective. And I can make decisions based off of that on what is going to be good for me or what is going to be bad for me. And that is what adults do. I don't need your book full of fairy tales to tell me what I need to do. And now that I have completely lost my mind and gotten a little aggravated, I'm going to go ahead and end this for today. So that is who Girl Defined is, and one example of their kind of blog post style. They kind of take these blog posts onto their videos and go a little bit farther into those. I'm really not going to be watching too many of their videos because their voices really annoy me. They have that like blonde kind of, oh my god kind of voice, and I really can't do that. I just can't. It's going to trigger a migraine and it's just not going to be good. But I will read more of their blog posts because I'll just give you some examples of what we're going to be working with here. How to break free from habitual sin. 3 lies Christian good girls believe. Newlywed answer your questions about love, purity, and marriage. Life as a wife, learning to chase truth instead of following your emotions. So, I mean, these are just some of the things that they talk about. It says, view by topic. They have feminism, relationships, culture, guys, femininity, personal struggles, the truth, the future, gender, and fashion. So those are some of like their kind of bullet points that they cover. So there's lots of stuff that we can cover with Girl Defined, and we will cover it at some point. But that's going to be the end of this video. Guys, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit subscribe and ring that bell so that you guys are notified every time I upload a video. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below about Girl Defined as a group. This blog, The 3 Lies I Believed About Fighting Sexual Sin, whatever. Look down in the description box down below because my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are all linked down there below. Also, my email is down there. If you have any requests on Girl Defined stuff that you want me to cover, let me know. If you have an article, go ahead and send it to me. If you do send me anything, I will shout you out in those videos so that you guys get all the credit for doing the research behind the scenes. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.